Discovery calls, sales calls, clarity calls, whatever you call them, they are either a loved or hated part of any service-based business owner's mode of operation. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through how to make those calls more streamlined and more profitable so you can do less of them and close more of them. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, my name is Haley Dale and I am a sales funnel and content strategist helping you create more productive, purposeful, and yes, profitable content too. So if that sounds like what you're looking for, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below this video. Welcome back to my 7-part series for service-based business owners to book at least one client, at minimum, with these 7 steps. So this is part 2 of the 7-part series, and if you haven't watched part 1 yet, which is all about messaging, make sure to go and watch that video over here. So the second part of the series is all about discovery calls, and discovery calls, sales calls, clarity calls, fit calls, whatever you call them. They're called a lot of different things, but just remember that the main point of them is for people to get on a call with you to decide whether or not they're a good fit for your services. So regardless of what you call them, that is the main point of them. Because when people are deciding whether they want to spend one-on-one time with you or whether they're comfortable handing over an important piece of their life or their business to you, they want that KLT sandwich. So they want to know that they like you, they know you, and they can trust you. So that is why we have the discovery calls, especially because service packages tend to be a bit higher price point than say a $97 or a $27 product. So it's a significant investment in both time, trust, energy, and money. So there needs to be that conversation first, because likely they want the reassurance that this is for them. They want the reassurance that this is going to work for them, and they want to know those logistics of exactly how it's going to flow and work. So in this part, we are going to cover how to really map out those calls, make them as seamless and as profitable as possible so you can get more people in there. So the way we're going to do this is through 4 phases. So phase 1 is to map out your discovery call booking process. So we want to know all the things that have to happen for somebody to get on your calendar. And we want to map that out so we have an opportunity to optimize each piece of the process to make it more simple and more straightforward for your potential clients. Because think about it, if you are making them jump through a million hoops, if the process is super complicated and janky, and there's a bunch of different broken pieces working here and there, that's not a great first impression. I'm going to be nervous about working with you if that was my experience in the discovery call booking process. So I'm going to go through an example here. So the first piece of the puzzle is usually some kind of, we want to make sure that there's a call to action throughout your website. And it might say, apply for a discovery call, request a consult call, book a discovery call here. Whatever it is for you. But that will be on your Work With Me page, maybe on your home page, on your About page, basically really to put it everywhere over your website if that is your main call to action for people to book that call. If that is the first step in the process to working with you. So that's step number 1. Then once people click on that, usually they're brought to some kind of form with a few questions, hopefully, basically things like, please describe your business, or why are you interested in having somebody help you with this area, or describe the challenge that you're struggling with. Now, where I see a lot of business owners go wrong, especially before they're booked out, is they are creating like questionnaires that people will have to spend like 20 to 30 minutes filling out to get you all the information. And especially before you booked out, we don't want that. We want at this stage for you to have as many calls as possible. So we want to make it as easy as possible for people to book those calls with you. We don't want any points of resistance. So yes, we want a few questions, but the whole point of those is to make sure that you're prepared coming to the call and have the information that you need so you guys can accelerate the process and get down to business with that discovery call. There's not a whole lot of fact finding because you have most of the information that you need. So make sure you're not having too many questions on there. Once you get booked out and you're starting to build a wait list, you have demand there, you can add more questions to that questionnaire, but until you're booked out, keep it simple. Keep it like 2 to 3 questions max. Then after they fill that out and they submit it, they're going to be brought to a calendar, right? So this might be Calendly or Acuity, but essentially somewhere where they can view your open and available time slots to request a call with you. So this is a way, so usually these tools, they sync with your Google Calendar because you can say like only available on Tuesdays for calls or Thursdays for calls. And then if there's already times booked there, it won't allow people to book the same slot twice. So this is a way of avoiding that dreaded, like when works for you? When works for you? When works for you? So we want to make it simple. So that is the second step of the process. And what I recommend here is having a few days available. So I wouldn't like make your calendar a free-for-all, because there's nothing worse than like having your whole day interrupted by calls back to back to back. So maybe you choose 1 or 2 days when you do calls. So I usually have Fridays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays for my 9-to-5ers to book a discovery call. And it's usually about a 2 to 3 hour block. Now, one of the things that I will say until you're booked out, so this is another beginner tip here. So if you know that you want to be working with 5 new clients a month, and maybe you like it's an hour a week, or figure out what that ideal workload is for you and when you're going to fit actually that work in, because a lot of times we'll say, I want 20 clients a month that I want to be signing. And then when we look at their calendar, it means you're working more than 40 hours a month to get those delivered and get those done. So figure out what fully booked looks like for you, and what that looks like in terms of your calendar. Now, until you have those slots filled, use this time for marketing your services, right? So if you are like, I want to work Wednesday and Thursday on client projects, and that means roughly signing 3 new clients a month, then I know on Wednesday and Thursday, until I have those time slots filled, that is my marketing time. Until those are booked, I'm dedicating that to marketing as if I was already working with those clients. So it's dedicated and earmarked for that time anyways. So next up, we want them, after they book that time, we want a confirmation page or a confirmation email that says, add it to my calendar. We want to make sure that they have a way of adding it to their own calendar system so that they don't miss the appointment. And it also has to add it to your calendar. So again, Calendly or Acuity, Book Like a Boss, there's some great services out there, but I definitely recommend jumping in on one of them, and I'll list some below. Now, we also want them to get some reminder emails. So maybe the day before or an hour before, say, I'm looking forward to talking to you, as a way of ensuring that they show up. And then at that time, so you either call them, they join you on Zoom, or you call them on Skype if that's what you're using. But we want to map out, so whatever your discovery call process is, make sure to map that out. And I have a discovery call mapping process template below this video, so you can go and grab it here or down below this video. So phase number 2, after you've mapped out your discovery call booking process and hopefully set it up, we want to talk about promoting your discovery calls, and we want to talk about some messaging. So we did some messaging in step number 1 about your offer itself, but now we want to come up with a message and a process and positioning for that discovery call. We essentially want to market your discovery call, or be prepared to really market that discovery call. And this comes a few different ways. So I want you to basically write an invitation, and we want it to be something where when people get on a call with you, it feels like they're going to walk away with something, even if they decide not to work with you. So it might be something like, I've seen good ones where it is like a sales funnel audit call. So I used to do those, right? Where I was helping people, I still do this, help them improve their sales funnels that they've maybe DIY'd or hacked together. And so the sales funnel audit call was just like some really simple points of information, and then pointing them to a couple areas that could be fixed. And then the sales part of it was educating them on how I could take that off their plate and do that for them, as well as measure and monitor it to make sure that it's working. So you want to think about, is there a diagnostic, or is there like one small goal that you can help them with? How will you market that call? What is the invitation going to be? So my invitation went a little bit something like this. So if you are struggling with your sales funnel, maybe you DIY'd it or hacked it together, book a call now, and we will come up with 3 things you can do to fix your sales funnel, as well as see if your profitable sales funnel package is right for you. So write your invitation, have the inherent value, the benefit of that call baked right into the invitation. Then once you have that written, we want to promote your call. So I want you to put it, here's some places to put that invitation. And we talked about CTAs a little bit earlier. We want to make sure it's on the ends of your blog post. So if you don't have a call to action on some of the blog posts that are super related to your service, go and put them there. On your newsletter, so you can just have a footer. I've seen this work really well, especially like with photographers, where they say 1 spot available or booking now in January for this. So you could put that there. A button on your website, make sure it's like on your homepage, your about page, your work with me page, obviously, maybe your contact page. In Facebook groups, so maybe if you have your own Facebook group, it's the pinned post, or maybe the cover photo. Your Facebook page, the cover photo, the pinned post. Twitter, the pinned tweet, maybe the call to action button. Make sure it's on your Instagram link page. You could also put it on Pinterest as well. You could also put it in your freebies. So you could have it as, if you have a workbook or you have a guide or maybe like a toolkit, you can use it, like basically make a back page ad, a magazine ad for that discovery call, since it's your first point of sale. Then you can create webinars for it. You can do guest posting or guest teaching and have that be the call to action. You can also send it to your network. Great thing to create these referral circles of people in complementary services to share referrals back and forth. So we want to make sure you both write that invitation so you're ready to promote it, and then go and optimize those hotspots and places that you could market it. Now, the reason why we're playing a numbers game here is because once you get people on a call, it's going to be a much higher conversion rate than, say, an email marketing campaign. But the whole trick is to get them on that call first. So you'll start to see things like, I'm closing 1 in 10 calls. So every 10 calls I have equal 1 sale, depending on what your close rate is. So you'll figure that out the more discovery calls you get, but it's a great way of reverse engineering your way to that discovery call goal based on the number of packages you want to sell per month. The phase 3 of getting discovery call ready is to create your agenda. So we want to create an agenda for your call that basically starts with listening to their biggest issue. So you want to just open the call and open it up right away and be like, tell me a little bit about blank, whatever challenge they told you about in the discovery call and why they wanted to book it. That's a great starting place, as well as to make them feel comfortable and get them talking so that you can be in a position to help them, or for you to determine whether or not they're a great fit or whether your package is the right thing to help them solve that problem. Then we want to really ask some questions that get to the root of that problem and maybe provide like 1 to 2 simple solutions that they can think about, or have you considered doing this, or have you looked into this? Then you want to move on to tell them, about your package and how your solution would work. I think you'd be a really great fit for the profitable funnel package, and here's why. And do you want to hear a little bit more about it? So here's a general outline that I follow in my calls. So number 1, greeting, obviously. How are you doing? How's 2020 treating you, or whatever the year is, or whatever the month is? What is their problem? So again, opening the floor for them to describe and go a little bit deeper into that problem, ask any clarifying questions that really gets to the root of that, maybe provide a couple of solutions here. Then I shift the conversation to my solution, the thing that I think would be right for them to really, based on what they've told me, answering any questions that they might have, and then end it with the next steps in working together. So just because you have this agenda doesn't mean you're going to be like reading it verbatim, right? We really want this to be conversational. So we want to think of your agenda as less as a step-by-step, this must be followed, written in stone thing, and more of a like framework for you to organize and structure the conversation as a way of keeping you on track for it. So that moves us into step number 4, which is closing the deal, right? Phase 4, let's close the deal after we've talked to them, they booked the call, we promoted the call, everything like that. So we want to so there's a couple of components for this. So the first part is we want to make sure that you leave the call knowing what the next steps are. Are they interested in working together? Do they want to see a proposal? Do they want to think about it for a couple of days? What are those next actions, and have you agreed on them? So at the end of the call, you basically want to ask them, like, would it be helpful to see a proposal? Or do you need a bit of time to think about this? Or any questions that I could answer? Or here's when I'm booking into, here's my next availability, that sort of thing. And then the second part of the closing the deal is following up. So even if they've said they're not interested or weren't super direct about it, send them a follow-up email a couple of days later just to check in and see how your tips or your pointers are resonating and if they had any follow-up questions. The majority of your sales will be made in the follow-ups. So make sure that you're either sending that proposal or have some kind of next point of action where they're expecting to hear from you. So those are the 4 phases. So, mapping out your discovery call process to make booking it really easy, writing your invitation and promoting them. We're going to talk about how to use those in the next steps of this process, of this series. Step 3 is that discovery call agenda. Remember, it's a framework, not like a written in stone step-by-step guidelines. And then step 4, having a process for closing the deal, and that 2 parts. One part is on the call, what are our next steps? And then part number 2 is that follow-up process. So are you ready to master discovery calls so you can get more people talking one-on-one with you about your services? Download my discovery call process map template below this video and let me know in the comments if you have any questions, and if you want more videos like this. Make sure to click on the next video on your screen and make sure to subscribe for more videos just like this one every single Monday.